between GM and non-chip products. When the American refused to sell them separately, British supermarkets stopped buying the meat and soybeans. Environmentalists wanted proof the modified crops would not harm other species. On the contrary, they had reports from Ghana University a drastic decline in the mark butterfly population related to pollen from GM corn. Then came the announcement that US agribusinesses had developed to terminate the chain, yet going into the seas to ensure the farmer could not follow their traditional practice of taking seed from their own crops the following year. Development agencies were furious. If such seeds were marketed to developing countries, farmers would become totally dependent on American agribusinesses. The resulting bad publicity led to hasty denial by producers of any plan to market such seeds. The harmful effects of so genetically modified crops on the environment are gradually appearing. The disappearance of venomous insects, the growth of herbicides weeds, the contamination of nearby oil farms. Health problems have also surfaced, including a reported increase in allergies and decrease in the effectiveness of antiviral drugs. If, as seems likely, more serious problems develop in due course, there will be huge losses, and some biotech companies may go bankrupt. However, the system which has allowed them to gamble with our health and environment will remain. A system in which priority is given to technological development and profits rather than to safety and social responsibilities. In Europe, there was growing resentment at the way genetically modified food that have been forced on the public. Oh, distinguish between GM and non-GM products. When the Americans refused to sell them separately, British supermarkets stopped buying maize and soybeans. Environmentalists wanted proof the modified crops would not harm other species. On the contrary, they have controversy or drastic decline in the monarch butterfly population related to pollen from GM corn. Then came the announcement that US agribusinesses have developed terminated gene, which could be inserted into seeds to ensure the farmer could not follow the traditional practice of taking seed from their own crop for use the following year. Development agencies were furious. If such seeds were marketed to developing countries, farmers would become totally dependent on American agribusinesses. Businesses. The resulting bad publicity led to hasty denial by a producer of any plan to market such seeds. The harmful effects of genetically modified crops on the environment are gradually appearing. The disappearance of beneficial insects, the growth of herbicide-resistant weeds, the contamination of nearby organic farms. Health problems have also surfaced, including reported increase in allergens and decrease in the effectiveness of antiviral drugs if, as seems likely, more serious problems develop in due course. There will be huge lawsuits, and some biotech companies may go bankrupt. However, the system which has allowed them to gamble with our health and environment will remain. A system in which priority is given to technological development and profit rather than to safety and social responsibility. はい。As seems likely どうやらそうなりそうなのだが as seems likely 何々ように見える likely 可能性の高い as seems likely if as seems likely more serious problem develop in due course やがて in due course as seems likely if as seems likely some biotech companies 違うわ more serious problem develop in due course antibiotic, antibiotic, herbicide, herbicide, H を発音しないのか。herbicide, herbicide, herbicide resistant weeds. Decline in the monarch butterfly population related to pollen from GM corn. Maize. At the way 何々であること何々の様 At the way genetically modified food has been forced on the public に切れてるとヨーロッパが In Europe, there was growing resentment at the way genetically modified food had been forced on the public 切れてますはい。In Europe, there is growing resentment at the way genetically modified food has been forced on the public. Consumers began demanding labels that allowed them to distinguish between GM and non-GM products. When America refused to sell them separately, British supermarkets stopped buying the maize and soybeans. Environmentalists want to prove the modified crop will not harm other species. On the contrary, they have reports from Cornell University of drastic decline in the monarch butterfly population related to pollen from GM corn. Then came the announcement that U.S. agribusinesses had developed the thermometer gene, which could insert into the seeds to ensure the farmer could not follow the traditional practice of taking seed from their own crop the used following year. Development agencies were furious. If such seeds were marketed to developing countries, farmers would become totally dependent on American agribusinesses. The resultant false publicity led to hasty denial by the producer of any plan to market such seeds. The harmful effect of subjecting modified crops on the environment are gradually appearing. The disappearance of the growth of resistant weeds, the contamination of nearby organic farms. Health problems have also surfaced, including a reported increase in nausea and decrease in effective antibiotic drugs. If, as seems likely, more serious problems develop in due course, there will be huge lawsuits, and some biotech companies may go bankrupt. However, the system which has allowed them to gamble with our health and environment will remain a system in which priority is given to technological development and profits, rather than safety and social responsibilities. On the contrary, they have postulated from the university of drastic decline in monarch butterfly population related to pollen from GM corn. Then came the announcement that U.S. agribusinesses had developed a terminator gene, which could be inserted into the seeds to ensure the farmer could not follow the traditional practice of taking seed from their own crop for use for the following years. Development agencies were furious. If such seeds were marketed to developing countries, farmers would become totally dependent on American agribusinesses. The resulting bad publicity led to hasty denial by the producer of any plan to market such seeds. The harmful effects of subjecting the environment are gradually appearing. The disappearing of benevolent insects, the growth outside resistant weeds, The contamination nearby oil firms. Health problems have also surfaced, including reported increase in allergy and decrease in effective antibi- アンチじゃないんだ、これ。antibiotic drugs, antibiotic, antibiotic drugs, antibiotic, antibiotic drugs, antibiotic drugs, antibiotic drugs, and effectiveness of antibiotic drugs. Antibiotic drugs. Even due costs will be huge losses, and some biotech companies may go bankrupt. However, the system features allow them to gamble with the health of environment will remain. A system in which priority is given to technological development and profit rather than to safety and social responsibility. System and with priority. However, the system which has allowed them to the system which have allowed them to gamble with our health and environment. Gamble with things that should do to gamble which there is tolerable gamble with our health and concerns our health and environment っていうシステムをThe system which has ああ、これはここまでか関係ないのしか。will remain a system will remain 残るでしょう a system つまり a system in which priority is given to technological development and profit rather than to safety and social responsibilities. In Europe, there was growing resentment at the way genetically modified foods had been forced on the public. Consumers began demanding the label distinguish between GM and non-GM products. When the Americans refused to sell them separately, British supermarkets stopped buying maize and soybeans. Environmentalists wanted proof that modified crops would not harm species. On the contrary, they have posted calling University a drastic decline in the monarch butterfly population related to pollen from GM corn. Then came the announcement that U.S. agribusinesses had developed terminator gene, which could be inserted into seeds to ensure the farmer could not follow the traditional practice of taking seeds from their own crops for use the following year. Development agent for failures. If such seeds were marketed to developing countries, farmers became totally dependent on American agribusinesses. The resulting bulk publicity led to a hasty denial by producers any plan to market such seeds. The resulting bad, the resulting bad publicity, the resulting bad 結果としてもたらされた悪い評判が led to a hasty denial 引き起こしました。hasty denial 急いだ否定を急いだ否定を引き起こしました。by the producer 生産者 of any plan to market such seeds. Any plan to market such そのような種を売ることを 販売計画があること by the producers by the producer of any plan. The producer 生産者のany plan by producers じゃあ、by the producers っていう挿入で of any plan to market such seeds は何にかかってるのか。計画の否定を引き起こしたって考えた方が by the producer of any plan to market such seeds. Combine the gradual appearing. The disappearance of benevolent insects, the growth of absolute-resistant weeds, the contamination of nearby organic farms. Health problems have also suffered, including a reported increase in allergy and decrease in effectiveness of antibiotic drugs. If, as seems likely, more serious problems develop in due course, there will be huge lawsuits, and some biotech company may go bankrupt. However, the system which has allowed them to gamble with our health and environment will remain. A system in which priority is given to technological serious problems developed in due course. There will be huge lawsuits, and some biotech company may go bankrupt. However, the system which has allowed them to gamble with our health and environment in the main, a system in which priority is given to technological development and profits rather than to safety and social responsibilities. Climate change, which would sail into the seas to ensure the farmer could not follow the traditional practice of taking seed from their own crops for use of 1 year. Developed agencies were furious. In market of developing countries, farmers would become totally dependent on American agribusiness. The resulting bad publicity led to hasty denial by the producer of any plan to market such series. The harmful effects of subjunctive modifier. The harmful effects of benevolent technology and decrease in the effectiveness of antibiotic drugs. If, as seems likely, more serious problems develop in due course, there will be a huge lawsuit and some biotech company may go bankrupt. However, the system which allows them to gamble with our health and environment will remain. A system in which priority is given to technological development and profits rather than to safety and social responsibility. In Europe, there was growing resentment at the when genetically modified food have been food public on consumers began demanding labels that represent distinct products. The Americans refused to sell them separately. British supermarkets stopped buying their maize and soybeans. Environmental groups modified crops with no harm other species. On the contrary, they harmfully foster colony diversity. The drastic decline in monarch butterfly population related to pollen from GM corn. Then came the announcement that U.S. agribusinesses had developed targeted genes, which gave incentive to seeds to ensure that farmers could not follow the traditional practice of taking seeds from their own crop or use for long years. Development agencies were furious. If such seeds were marketed to developing countries, the soybeans. Environmentalists want to prove the modified crops are not harm species. On the contrary, they have the concept of university a drastic decline in monarch butterfly population related to pollen from GM corn. Then came the announcement that U.S. agribusinesses had developed a terminator gene, which will insert the seeds to ensure that farmers could not follow the traditional practice of taking seeds from own crops for use the following year. Development agencies were furious. If such seeds were marketed to developing countries, farmers would become totally dependent on American agribusinesses. The resulting bad publicity led to hasty denial by the producer of any plant market such seeds. The harmful effects of genetically modified crop environment are gradually appearing. Disappearance of developing insects that grow outside the insect weeds. The contamination of nearby organic farms. As problems have also suffered, noted a decline in effective available drugs. It has seen likely lawsuits and some biotech companies may go bankrupt. However, the system which allowed them to gamble that environment will remain. A system in which priority is given to technological development and profit rather than safety and social responsibility. Separate the British supermarkets set by the main soybeans. Environmentalists want to prove modified crops not harm species. On the contrary, they have reported colony bursts, a drastic decline in monarch butterfly population related to pollen from GM corn. Then came the announcement that US airbases have developed terminator genes. Each gene insert gene natural camera could not twice practice updating the uncles for use for a year. Development agencies were furious. With such seeds to market developing countries, farmer resulting by publicity that the resident by producers or any firm to market such seeds. The harmful effects of genetically modified crops on the environment are gradually appearing. The disappearance of the contamination of nearby urban farms. Asteroids have also surfaced, including reported increase in narrative and decrease in the effectiveness of antibiotic drugs. If, as seems likely, more serious problems develop in due course, there will be huge lawsuits, and some biotech companies may go bankrupt. However, the system which has allowed them to gamble with our health and environment will remain a system in which priority is given to technological development and progress rather than safety and social responsibility. In Europe, there was growing resentment at the way genetically modified food had been forced on public. Consumers began demanding label and laws distinguish between GM and non-GM products, and America refused to sell them separately. Various supermarkets stopped by the maize and soybeans. Environmentalists want to prove the modified crop would not harm other species. On the contrary, they have reported from Cornell University a drastic decline in the monarch wildlife population related pollen from GM corn. Then came the announcement that US agribusinesses have developed a terminator gene, which could be inserted into the seeds to ensure the farmer could not follow the traditional practice of taking seed from their own crops for use the following year. Development agencies were furious. If such shares were marketed to developing countries, farmers would become totally dependent on American agribusinesses. The resulting bad publicity led to harsher denial by a producer of any plan to market such seeds. The harmful effects of subjective modified crops on the environment were gradually appearing. The disappearance of developing insects, the growth of herbicides, resistant weeds, the contamination of nearby organic farms. Health problems have also surfaced, including a reported increase in allergy and decrease in effectiveness under antibiotic drugs. If, as seems likely, more serious problems developed in due course, there would be huge lawsuits and some biotech company may go bankrupt. However, the system which has allowed them to gamble with our health and the environment will remain a system which priority is given to technological development and profit rather than to safety and social responsibility. As with cloning, the application of genetic engineering to humans is highly controversial. As it must be known, it is a promising approach to the elimination of hereditary diseases. In the past, the only way to prevent such diseases from being passed from one generation to the next was to not stop them to voluntarily sterilize, allowing them to transfer that family. With genetic engineering, defective genes can be replaced or repaired, resulting in healthy babies. However, the technology can also be used to introduce superior genes, which may enhance beauty or intellectual and sporting achievement. Rich people could just run designer babies. Another use of genetic engineering is in gene therapy. Many diseases occur because the particular gene is missing or defective. Now the researcher can identify missing or defective gene. It is possible to predict illnesses long before symptoms appear, but this enables people to take preventive action by making appropriate changes to their lifestyle or diet. It also gives advanced companies a chance to identify by race. Above average risk of breast cancer, for example, can be discovered through genetic testing, and some insurance companies now insist that female applicants reveal the result of such tests and raise their fees to cover the increased risk. Most insurance companies demand such information as a matter of course. Potential employees will no doubt follow suit, rejecting high-risk job applicants. いや、クソ早いな。なんで男性の方こんな早いの？わざとでしょ。めっちゃ早いな。as with chronic. 同様にと as with chronic. The application of genetic engineering to humans is highly controversial. At its most beginning, at its most beginning, at its most benign, at benign, most benign, at its most, at its most benign, at its most benign. It is a promising. 将来性がある It is a promising approach to the elimination of hereditary disease 遺伝病の in past. The only way to prevent such disease from being passed on from um, from being passed on. The only way その方法だけだった to prevent such a disease from being passed on from one generation to next was 方法は何だけだった for those who suffer from them to be promptly sterilized, depriving them of a chance to raise a family. With genetic engineering, defective genes,欠落した遺伝子 can be replaced or repaired, resulting in healthy babies. However, the technology can also be used to introduce superior genes, which may enhance beauty or intellectual and sporting achievements. Rich people could plan designer babies. Another use of genetic engineering is in gene therapy. Many diseases occur because a particular gene is missing or defective. Now that researcher can identify now that now that researcher can identify missing or defective genes. 今となっては研究者が明らかにしている Researcher can identify missing or defective genes. It is possible to predict illness long before symptoms appear. はあ、long before ずっと以前にか possible to predict illness long before symptoms appear. While this enables people to take preventive action by making appropriate change to their lifestyle or diet. It also gave insurance companies the chance to identify bad risks and above average risk of breast cancer and above risk above average risk of breast cancer, for example, can be discovered through genetic testing, and some insurance companies have insisted that female applicants reveal the result of such tests and raise their fee to cover the ins- ins- increased risks. Once insurance company demand such information as a matter of course, potential employers will no doubt follow suit, rejecting high-risk job applicants. よし、いけるな。危ない。危な。ナイスすぎる。As with cloning, the application of genetic engineering humans is highly controversial. At its most benign, it is a promising approach to the elimination of hereditary diseases. In the past, the only way to prevent such diseases from being passed on from one generation to the next was for those who suffer from them to voluntarily sterilize, deprive them of the chance of blood family. With genetic engineering, defective genes can be replaced or repaired, resulting in healthy babies. However, the technology can also be used to introduce superior genes, which may enhance beauty or intellectual and sporting achievement. Rich people grow less from designer babies. Another use of genetic engineering is in gene therapy. Many diseases occur because a particular gene is missing or defective. Now the researcher can identify missing or defective gene. It is possible to predict illnesses long before symptoms appear. Will enable people to take preventive action by making appropriate changes to their lifestyle or diets. It also gives insurance companies the chance to identify risks. An above average risk of breast cancer, for example, can be discovered through genetic testing. As some insurance companies now insist that female applicants reveal the result of such tests and raise their fees to cover the insurance risks. No doubt, forsooth, rejecting high-risk job applicants. As with cloning, the application of genetic engineering in humans is highly controversial. At its most benign, it is a promising approach to the elimination of hereditary disease. In the past, the only way to prevent such being passed on 早いな was to suffer from them to voluntarily sterilize, depriving them of the chance of raise family. In genetic engineering, defective genes can be replaced or repaired, resulting in healthy babies. However, the technology can also be used to introduce superior genes, which may enhance beauty or intellectual sporting achievement. Rich people could just from designer babies. Another use of genetic engineering is in gene therapy. Many diseases occur because a particular gene is missing or defective. Now the researcher can identify missing or defective genes. It is possible to detect illnesses long before symptoms appear. While just a number of people taking preventive action by appropriate chances. 早い And verbal risk cancer, for example, can be discovered through genetic testing. And some insurance companies now assist female applicants reveal the results such tests and raise their fees to cover the increased risks. Once the insurance company demands such information as a matter of course, potential employers will not then follow suit, rejecting high-risk job applicants. Uh, as with growing, the application of genetic engineering to humans is highly controversial. As it must be known, it is promising approach to elimination of hereditary diseases. In the past, the only way to prevent such diseases from being passed on from generation to the next was for those who suffer from them to be voluntarily sterilized, depriving them of the chance to raise a family. With genetic engineering, defective genes can be replaced or repaired, resulting in healthy babies. However, the technology can switch into superior genes, which may enhance beauty or attraction and sporting achievement. Rich people could just from designer babies. Another use of genetic engineering is in gene therapy. Many diseases occur because a particular gene missing or defective. Now the researcher can identify missing or defective genes. It is possible to predict illnesses long before symptoms appear. For this enable people to take preventive action by making appropriate changes to their lifestyle or diets. It also gives insurance companies the chance to identify bad risks. Involved risk on breast cancer, for example, can be discovered through genetic testing. And some insurance companies now insist that female applicants reveal the result of such tests and raise the switch to cover the increased risks. Once the insurance company demands such information as a matter of course, potential employers will no doubt follow suit, rejecting high-risk job applicants. 早い、早い。As with cloning, the application of genetic engineering to humans is highly controversial. As it must be known, it is a promising approach to the elimination of hereditary disease. In the past, the only way to prevent such disease from being passed from one generation to the next was for those who suffer from them to be voluntarily sterilized, depriving them of a chance to raise a family. With genetic engineering, defective genes can be replaced or repaired, resulting in healthy babies. However, the technology can also be used to introduce superior genes, which may enhance beauty or intellectual and sporting achievement. Rich people could thus from designer babies. Another use of genetic engineering is in gene therapy. Many diseases occur because a particular gene is missing or defective. Now the researchers can long before symptoms appear. Well, prevent action by making appropriate diet. It also gives insurance companies the risk. Breast cancer, for example, can be discovered through genetic testing, and some insurance companies now insist their female applicants reveal the results such as and raise their fees to cover the increased risk. Once the insurance company demands such information as a matter of course, potential employers will no doubt follow suit, rejecting high-risk job applicants. Uh, as with cloning, the application of genetic engineering to humans is highly controversial. As it must be known, it is a promising approach to the elimination of hereditary diseases. In the past, the only way to prevent such diseases from being passed on one generation to the next was for those who suffer from them to be voluntarily sterilized, depriving them to chance a family. With genetic engineering, defective genes can be replaced or repaired, resulting in healthy babies. However, the technology can also be used to introduce failure genes, which may enhance beauty or intellectual or sporting achievement. Rich people could just from designer babies. Another use of genetic engineering is in gene therapy. Many diseases occur because of a particular gene is missing or defective. Now the researcher can identify missing or defective genes. It is possible to predict illnesses long before symptoms appear. For this enable people to take preventive action by making appropriate changes to their lifestyle or diets, and it also gives insurance companies a chance to identify risks. Unfavorable average risk of breast cancer, for example, can be discovered through genetic testing. There are some insurance companies